call this meeting to order. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Brown? Here. Trustee Burgess?
Here.
Trustee Young?
Here.
Trustee Detmer?
I'm here.
Clerk's here.
Let's stand and do the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's look at the minutes. Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes and see if there's anything we need to change. Anybody? Everything was good?
I didn't see anything.
All right. Well then, is there a motion to approve the minutes as written?
So moved.
Moved by Marie,
Second.
second by James. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Trustee Detmer?
Yes. Let's move into public comments. And do we have our Will County here? Do you have anything you'd like to say?
I don't have a whole lot, just seems like the last 10 days or so, there's been quite a few burglaries. I don't know if it's the warm weather last week or not, but all around the area, out on 80th Avenue this way, Clemmy this way, and out of Ashton, kind of north of the creek there. So tell everybody that you talk to, make sure that they're keeping an eye out on their neighbors. What's happening is with the ones, a couple of them over to the west was broad daylight, middle of the morning. They are expecting people to be at work and just kicking in the front door, going in, going right to the bedroom, looking for stuff real quick like jewelry, guns. They picked up the mattress and they were in and out in under 11 minutes. Guy had a trail cam picked up, and of course he couldn't get the license plate on the car. Another one out in Clemmy was a shed that they broke into. Wasn't locked, just went in, took some stuff out of there. So I don't know if it's the warm weather, they're getting people out more now, but it seems like in the last week there's been about 3 or 4 in this area, not particularly Monee Township, but in the area in general. So just be aware of your neighbors, pass it on to. If you see a suspicious vehicle, make sure that they call us and we'll get right out there.
Excellent. You know, there was an accident on Will Center Road, just almost parallel with Hellerberg Estate. The car was flipped over in the ditch, and they had both sides of Will Center blocked off. And do you know the outcome of what happened?
I do not, I did hear that call.
Oh, you did hear that?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did not hear the outcome.
Well, I know, I'll tell you after.
Oh, okay.
Lieutenant,
Okay, good.
I was coming to the township board and there was a traffic stop.
Yeah, were you the one that was way through there? Yeah.
Oh, you was down
Yeah, I was down there too. I stopped on the way. That was just some people out of the area that they had to stop on a traffic stop, and it looked like they were looking for, they found a little bit of marijuana.
there. I just happened to notice that when they did that traffic stop, it was right at the intersection, blocking 3 different ways. So,
Right. And you know as well as me, sometimes it's tough to get them where you want them to stop at.
oh, that was you.
Yes, I know that.
Who knows what was I doing? Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything from the public that I need to be aware of, or from you guys? Any problems in the township?
Anybody else?
You know, this is political season, so people are gonna be out in the wee hours of the night doing things, so malicious things and good things, so
Right.
just keep an eye on those things.
We
Absolutely.
don't, we got a lot of people taking campaign signs down.
And we encourage everyone to, if they see something like that, give us a call. Most likely the time we get there, they'll be gone. But who knows, we could happen to be right in the area when you get the call. So don't be afraid to call. You're not bothering us. I mean, that's what we're out here for.
Yeah, because Will County is very visible. You see the cars all the time.
It's good to hear.
Yes.
All right, thank you very, very
Thank
much.
you, officer.
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You can just
Give
call me-
honor to whom honors due. Lieutenant.
You can just
And a
call me
very
Brent. Brent is fine.
Take the compliments while you
Take it out.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, supervisor's report. We have our general assistance report, and we have 4 intakes, 3 applications, 0 flat grant, 0 other aids, 14 came for fancy, 1 denied, 1 pending, 1 was terminated. We have so far 7 on general assistance. We total amount for general assistance for the period of February 13th through March 11th was $1,456. The amount for emergency assistance was $425, for a total spent of both GA and EA of $1,881. We have the next senior event is going to be on April 15th. And that will be here at the township. And seniors that are 65 and older that live in Monee Township will receive a free lunch, and there will always be nice entertainment.
Supervisor, do you know the official age for becoming senior?
65 is our senior thing. Depends, I mean, the official age is still 65, but there are many, many places that, you know, some say 55 and over, depending on what store you're at, some are 60 and over, depending, you know, some stores and different organizations can set their own. We choose 65 because we really can't afford it as a, you know, township. You know, we get a full house as it is with over 65 without making it any money. Our bus is because of the grants and everything, is 62.
Yeah, 60.
60.
And with the assessor, I think that's 65, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
And that's for the assistants, for the,
for
right.
the
Exemptions.
So we
exemptions,
have some
right.
different ages there.
Right.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
I don't know if there's anything. I think 65 is still considered the,
Yep.
you know, the age, but.
I'm not gonna rush. I'm rushing to where I am now. Not anymore.
Piece of good news is that we did receive our Torma dividend just the other day.
Let me see, is it over 30?
It's $3,759, and that will be split between David, the highway commissioner, and the town. And that just goes into other income taxes.
David and Maurice is
Yeah, Maurice, we don't have any Maurice in there.
good. Can use it.
All right, we have a clerk's report.
The budget hearing, publication within the Creek Monee Record Monitor on March 12th. I had intended to have it put in the Southtown Star, but I got a note saying that I guess they've actually been sold or something, so actually the Sun-Times is a newspaper that I have to go in if you want to put it in. It shows that paper. I had a
I
note.
thought it was the Tribune, because I saw in my Tribune that I got the other day that they had a little paper inside that says Southtown Star insert, and it was like 2 pages.
Well, the letter, when I sent the legal notice to them, I got a letter from, I think his name was, I don't know what I'm saying. I have a copy of it, but he said that if I wanted to, we could go into like the Sun-Times. That's what the note back from where I normally sent it. So it said that
Maybe it is
that's the
something.
Sun-Times. So I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what the circulation of the monitor, record monitor, because I used to be able to buy one at the grocery store in Crete, but that grocery store is no longer there. It's like a fitness center, so I'm not really sure where you can, if you want to go out and purchase like a record monitor, I'm not sure what location sells it. I even went to a couple of stores over here.
I noticed that.
7-Eleven, I think.
Which 7-Eleven?
Right here, it's right here at Monee.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good to know, because sometimes I like to, maybe go out, I may end up getting my own subscription.
It's delivered to me, I'll sell it.
And-
we have a delivery here to the town.
And I understand that, and the library, they had a December issue in the library. I don't know if the library, University Park Library, if they have a current subscription or not, but when I go to the library, that's always like back issues. I'm not sure what the issue with that is.
I can find out.
It's like December, the one that's up is like December, and when I asked, they said, well, we should be getting it. So I never got a response back.
If we, if it is an active subscription, it should be up there. If it's not an active subscription,
Well, it's on the shelf, but it's like a December issue that's on the shelf.
okay.
Yeah. Statement of economic interest, as you know, May 1st is the deadline, and I've actually submitted mine, received mine. I think James sent me a copy of yours. You don't really have to send me a copy of it, just as long as you have proof, because they're going to be coming to you, not me, to make sure that you, so they're not going to be asking me if you submitted it, they're going to be asking you. So it's up to
Bobby,
you.
you're looking at me to say that.
And looking at you,
I must
scanned the
confess,
table.
this time,
I scanned the table.
I submitted it and get my receipt.
right.
I am not paying $15 per day.
As long as you have your receipt, you're good.
I'm good.
Okay, so,
Yeah, do it, trophy. We got until, May 1st? We got until May 1st.
did you get one in the mail? You didn't get one in the mail?
These 2 months, I don't know
Yes,
what I
I'm
received
crazy.
in the mail.
It came a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
If there's an issue, you maybe call the clerk's office.
They got a nice one.
May 1st is the day.
I'll resubmit it. Otherwise, it's $15 a day.
Yeah, they can get pretty stiff, though.
Anything else, Bob?
Did, I'll probably think about it later. It wasn't.
All right, we'll move on. Think about it and let us know. All right, Highway Commissioner.
Well, I think we're close to being done with the snow. At least we hope. I guess they're calling for an inch Monday. I don't know what weatherman that is, but anyhow.
Possibility.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's not going to happen.
That's what I'm thinking too. That's on the salt, went over budget. Probably the most money we've ever spent for salt, but that's the way it is. So I just filled out the request for next year's salt already.
The same amount, Dave?
Yeah, 500 ton. And we're doing road patching, potholes, which aren't too bad. We don't have too many of that. And then we're going to have to do some ditch repairing, where we scrape for snow plowing. But that's going to be dependent on the weather. Right now, it's awful muddy. So we'll have to wait for it to dry out a little better for that. And then we got this aqua pipeline, water line. We're still, they called me, the Farnsworth group called me. And I don't know if they're going to keep coming. They really don't know where they're going yet, which makes it kind of hard. So they wanted to know how much would it cost them to just for the right of way permission to go down in the ditch and put the pipe in there. And I talked to the other 2 road commissioners down south, and we all agreed that we were going to ask for $50,000 a mile.
50,000 a mile?
Yeah, just for doing permission to put the. So I told this guy from Farnsworth that, and there was this great big pause. He didn't say anything else, and he said, "Okay, I'll tell him that." And then he called me back, and he said, "Well, that's kind of steep." I said, "Well, he's talking $5,000 a mile." And then he was talking about condemnation, and I says, "Well, that's fine. You do what you have to do. I mean, you don't know where you're going yet anyhow for sure." And he says, "Yeah, that's right, we really don't." So Joe and I may be visiting a lot on condemnation.
Condemnation on another government entity?
Well, they're not a government, you know, Aqua.
Here's,
It's Aqua, Illinois.
see, here's what the area, here's
That's a
what,
public utility.
No, that's a public utility, so that's
Yeah.
still a public
Yeah.
entity
Yeah.
involved in
Yeah.
Legally, what does that
condemnation.
mean?
I don't think-
They're gonna take it.
Come in and go to court,
Yeah.
court fixing it.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so,
I was gonna say, where did we come up with the value for that? I mean, 50,000?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
said all three.
it's a mess. It's gonna be, it's gonna be, they're gonna put this thing right down the road ditch.
In the
That's,
court.
that's just what a permit, that's just a permit that I give them so they can do it. They're gonna have to replace the road too. Because when they get done, they're gonna have the road all tore up, you know. I'm trying to discourage them from doing it, you know. Well, what they're doing is they're buying right away from the private landowner, okay? Now, the landowner theoretically owns to the center of the road. So they claim that, they're claiming that, you know, they can put this thing in the road ditch. But, because they bought the right of way from the landowner. Now, that's a little bit of a gray area.
I mean, it would be unusual.
Yeah, it would be.
It would be unusual for a pipeline company to be looking to conduct property on public property. That's, it's kind of unusual.
It is. It is. It's gonna be, you know, you know,
Let's see what their authority is to
yeah.
do that.
See, this is water. This isn't a gas product. So there's no danger of explosion or, you know, of it blowing up. So they don't, their requirements for setbacks and all that stuff doesn't even, they don't have to worry about it.
well,
Because,
you know, their logic is, if it's based on that the landowner owns to the middle of the road.
yes,
Then they should be paying you back for taking care of the culverts and the road and picking up the trash and doing everything that you would have to do as you normally do.
well, we got that easement, that's part of the easement, that's part of our easement
I know,
responsibility.
that's what I'm saying,
see?
so someplace
Yeah,
there's
if I
a
wanna-
question as to
yeah.
what is
Yeah.
illegal.
Yeah, if I want to do anything to the road or anything to the road ditch, I got the right to do that. You know, they can't,
So they don't really own to the
No,
middle
we
of
do
the
not.
road then.
We do
No,
not.
they own it, but they have, the government entity has the right to do things that's needed within that easement. Like, you know,
Like
my
me.
easement is 22 feet from the street. So we have a lot of utility
Yeah,
lines and
yeah,
all of that. So
yeah.
they have the right to that. We have to maintain it. And it's still our property, right? Isn't that correct?
We still got the easement on it, correct, yeah.
Yeah. It's
It's
the
not our
easement.
property.
Say that again.
It's not, we don't, they pay taxes to the center of the road. Everybody pays taxes to the
Okay,
center of the road.
but there's utility lines and things
Correct.
like that within my
Yeah.
yard right there.
Yeah.
That's considered the easement.
They had to get,
maintain that. If I
They
didn't
got-
cut the front of my
yeah.
yard, could I be thrown out the neighborhood?
yeah.
But that's your right. If you need to put something in there, ComEd, the phone company, have a right to go in there and put new lines in there, in my yard.
Well, they gotta,
Within the easement space.
well, they gotta contact me first.
Yeah, but.
Yeah,
you're the big
I gotta
kahuna.
sign off on it.
You're the
Yeah,
big kahuna.
yeah, yeah,
Because you're the township.
yeah.
So, but where's the proposed line, water line? It's
Originally, they were gonna go up Will Center Road, all the way from Kankakee County, all the way up to University Park.
Straight down Will Center?
That's what they were gonna
Straight
do.
down to where the school, Monee Elementary?
Yeah, that's what their original plan was.
And then shoot over somewhere to you.
Yeah, it's over here on Central Avenue where they got their, they gotta go under the railroad somewhere. See, they're gonna have to cross the railroad someplace.
That's right.
Are you saying that in the space they look, I don't realize you don't exactly know which way they're going.
Yeah,
In the area that they're looking to put their lines in, are there other utilities in there now?
oh, it probably is, yeah.
Gas, electric?
Yeah, some places, yeah.
Yeah.
Some places there's a big fiber optic
Yeah,
Okay.
sticking in there. They're gonna have to deal with that,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
They're still, I don't know, they're still, it's all, they don't know which way they're gonna go, to tell you the truth. They don't know how to
But
do
if
it.
they come up Will Center doesn't.
County.
That's the county, Will County.
Yeah.
So,
They abandoned that for some reason.
so at what point are we involved with that then?
Well, they moved it over to Egyptian Trail. They
Oh,
abandoned,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, the abandoned Will, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Now Egyptian.
Yeah,
Got it. Wow.
see? And they gotta stay within their limits, because they've got this, it's gonna be a water district.
So they're gonna come right up this spot, right?
No, that'd probably be the easiest way, but they won't do that. But it's gonna be a water district is what it is, see? And they only got a permit from a state permit for a certain area that they can go into.
Now, how big of a pipeline is this? They're proposing the 3.
24 inch,
Oh, it's- okay.
24 inch. Then they'll be selling water off of that.
Tapping off, huh?
Yeah, Peatone, they opted out, they wouldn't let them. They didn't want anything,
They're gonna go right
they
there.
didn't want anything to do with them,
And
yeah.
not get tapped off.
No.
They're gonna try.
Monee doesn't either, Monee isn't either.
Oh, wow.
See, it's only University Park. Because University Park, I believe, has got Aqua. I think Aqua's their water
Aqua's
supplier.
their-
That's what they're shooting
We've
for.
had that for years, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, we need to get rid of it.
Wow.
yeah.
So this is supposed to improve the quality of water.
And I guarantee you gonna pay for it.
Yeah, I guess that's what they're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, you guys.
I think it's Kankakee River water, I'm not sure.
Kankakee River
I think so, yeah.
contaminated with byproduct from the nuclear power plant down there too. I said.
That way.
That's just speculation.
That's where they get, no.
Allegedly.
Wow. That's where they get our makeup.
Yep.
That's what you
So-
said, right?
And that's supposed to reduce our water rates, right?
I have no idea. I have no idea on that one. Then I have no idea what it's gonna be.
Oh, University Park.
I'll just keep you informed.
Yeah.
They've asked to put on a presentation for you guys. But I kind of, I'll see. If you're interested in it, let me know. And they'll come and give you a presentation.
It's really your decision, right? I mean, we don't have a decision to make in this. It's the road commissioner has the
Yeah.
decision.
But I'll-
They're wasting their time other than giving us knowledge.
You know, this is what happened to Will Township.
We probably have to have a resolution.
When they went to Will Center Road, they were gonna go to people's yards. And Brian Can's phone rang off the hook. So then it became a township board problem, because all the residents down there were very upset about this thing. And that's, and if they come up Egyptian Trail, come all the way through Raccoon Grove, I can guarantee you'll get a phone call.
Several.
Yep, they'll be upset, so, and, you know, so I want to keep you informed.
And then the village will pick it up, I believe, right there in Watson. What-
Yeah, then that's village.
But you see,
But you said
we're
really-
good, we
you
just
said
say,
Monee
oh,
opted out
you
of it,
know.
But they have to go, they still have to go through it.
Yeah, but you see, we're good because we can just say, oh, I'm sorry, David has control of that, you have to talk to David.
Well, I'm up to it.
Big kahuna.
It's a big gun, all righty. All right, we went into assessor's report.
Okay, good afternoon, evening, everybody. I just got to give a few updates. We, of course, going to be going over the budget tonight, and as I said before, we did come to an agreement, Supervisor and I. And I did, look into the CPI and all that, and I noticed what the county clerk can choose to go as low as the CPI, but maybe as high as 5%. So as the supervisor showed me before what it was last year, I just request that when that does come in. I don't know if that's come in yet,
No,
Donna?
not.
Yeah, I'd just like to see that when it comes in. Okay, we're hiring students right now as interns and part-time in preparation for our quadrennial year work we need to have in the field as well as in the office. We attended a job fair at DeVry, and they've been a real good source for us. I actually interviewed 3 people this week, and I think I'm going to choose one of them. The activities that's going to be required for the quadrennial, we will have to look at some of the properties that really haven't had reductions or reassessments in a while, and that mainly includes commercial and industrial and vacant land. So, I mean, we've been keeping up on the residential ones pretty well. We had our first workshop of the year, and there's been a lot of interest in information that we share. The turnout was low this time, though, because it was really cold that week. But the next one is scheduled for June. It's in the newsletter. Oh, and speaking of the newsletter, we have been getting a great response from the newsletter. some of the information was pretty much a repeat, but I really emphasized the seniors and people who have exemptions owed to them or that's available to them, that they need to come. And we've been getting a lot of people. I know it was before you would see them trickle in now and then, and I'm like, they're 70 and they never had a senior exemption. I'm like, wow. So when we sent out the newsletter and just bolded, if you know anybody that's 65 years or older, and it's been this week alone about 6, people have come in. So it was a good response. I was really glad to see that. We're reviewing documents for state appeals. We're having more state appeals being scheduled. And I think it's because as of, let's see, in 2010 we started reducing, and when people get those notices that their assessment is changing, in the past it was that you're gonna get an increase in your assessment. They send out the same notice when they're being reduced too. And it says clearly on there you have a right to appeal. So more people were appealing because they feel, and they got a right to feel however they feel about it. It's not low enough, And even when they talk to me, I may not agree that it needs to be as low as what they say that they think it should be. So they end up appealing. So collectively, from 2010 to 12, there wasn't very many state appeals, because I guess it had to kind of start building up. And plus the state is behind about 2 years. So, but then they started coming in. So in 2012, we had only 10. In 2013, we had 25. In 2014, we had 46. So it's like been doubling. I don't know if that's gonna be an indication if we're gonna have something in the 80s this year, but it's just more state appeals, which is kind of, it's an extra burden that's not normal that, is gonna be realized this year, as well as it's being a quadrennial year. So I got a lot of work to do for creating evidence and support. And then I might add too that a lot of the state appeals, and I'll say 98% of them, I'm not sure about that number, but many of them, most of them are always represented by an attorney. So we have more of a need, as I had mentioned before, of getting some kind of legal support and gathering evidence and researching the law when certain things come up that's not, a usual situation. Like I'll give you an example of one property, they're contending that is not wasteland, but it's like water. They're saying it's not buildable, and just a lot of stuff. Okay, right. So I did, review the appraisals, but it definitely would help to have another set of eyes reviewing appraisals and stuff like that. Let's see what else. The county rep will be out to our office on May 20th and June 11th. It's all in the newsletter for the senior freeze applicants. They also will take any other application if it's a disabled person, senior exemption, whatever. They don't just restrict it to that. They're very quick, and they're the ones that make decisions anyway. So you get them to do it. It's not going to be any worry. They'll let you know right then if there's anything else that you need, as opposed to when they come to the office, we send it in, and they might get contacted later for something.
That senior freeze is for the lower income seniors and also for the disabled?
Well, the senior freeze is you have to be 65, so you have to be getting that senior. No, you can't get it if you're not 65. And it's based on your income. But I wouldn't say it's low income, because I for sure wouldn't be making that income when I retire. It's $55,000 or less. That's not low. But it's, some seniors are blessed to be making more than that. But
And that's household income?
yeah, household, right.
I'll be there.
But it is income, required for that. Again, I mentioned that there's still a lot of vacant homes, and particularly since I'm in University Park and I'm driving through there a lot, I see that. And I see a lot of consultants or contractors really working on properties, but it might also be the fact that the spring is coming and people are getting their houses ready to sell, because people are thinking right now, for a change, they might actually be able to sell their house if they want to. So a lot of activity is going on there. There is, I guess basically that's it. Again, I just want to reiterate, I will be continuing to provide information in support of, increase for this position. I know that it helps to be able to have information so you can make informed decisions on it. And we are, again, we'll be hiring one person by next week. We have, Keith is currently kind of laid up, he broke his foot, so I'm gonna be needing help, to cover that area doing the field. That's it.
Thank you. Okay. Attorney's report.
I was just going to mention two things. It really deals with we're going to be dealing with setting the agenda for the annual meeting, the later meeting. A couple small changes that I mentioned to the clerk, they both deal like actually with him. What it comes down to is it used to be there was a 10-day requirement for posting and for publication about the annual meeting. Now it's 15. Changed after last year's annual meeting, and there used to be some uncertainty as far as the financial report that has to be filed or presented at the annual meeting, whether it has to be read or whatever. I cleared that up. Now it can either be read or it can be distributed, so clerk doesn't have to stand there and read through the whole treasurer's report, the financial report at the annual meeting.
Great.
So it just has to have it available to distribute to the people who show up. A couple of changes for next month.
The 15-day, what that means is that if I'm not ready to get it put in, it'd have to go until the March 26th instead of the second, so it's going to, and that goes back to my point about, should I try to post it in the Sun Times if that might be an issue? Would that be an issue in posting in the Sun Times? Because actually I can.
Posted it also record, besides the record monitor, also the Sun-Times?
What I do is I actually post it at 3 permanent places.
Right.
You know,
You post it
at
here.
Village Hall in Monee, Village Hall in University Park, Village Hall in Park Forest, and here. So I actually posted like 4 places.
Yeah, what the statute actually says is that it has to be by posting written or printed notices in 3 of the most public places in the township at least 15 days before the meeting, and if there is an English language newspaper published in the township, by at least 1 publication in that newspaper before the meeting.
So it will be the
Record monitor.
which has to be, but the deadline is 12 o'clock tomorrow for that one, to be until the 26th.
Really?
Otherwise,
Oh,
yep.
that early?
Yeah, it's Friday of the previous week, so if I wait till next week, it won't go in until the 2nd. So I'll try to work on that tonight, and see if I can get it out. I kind of got by with it, so we'll see how we can work it out, but otherwise it may be in the Sun Times.
And this is the first year for those changes.
And also, we'll probably post it on our website too. I think anytime we're posting things, isn't that something that you should be posting?
Well, you should, you certainly should. It's not mandated, but it's,
Right.
you should.
Okay.
The key is the 3 public places and if there's a paper published.
Right.
Because I always really do 4. I do here, Park Forest, Village Hall, and they've been good about it, and Monee, Village Hall, and University Park, Village Hall.
I have a question. When you say financials, you're talking about the budget, or are you talking about that report that the supervisor provides it? And, okay, all right.
It's an unaudited report. It's just
Okay.
It's just the report for the end of the year stuff. Okay, let's move into new business. The first item, and there is a new revised agenda on the table because we added a couple items, and one of the items is 2015 Township Officials of Illinois TOI dues of $30. They would like us to pay to have that. So if you would like a motion to send $30 for the trustees division dues. So, moved by Debbie,
Second.
second by Maurice. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess? Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Deborah?
Yes. And the next item on the agenda is the clerk's dues. Now, this is Illinois clerk's dues, which is again $30. Their motion to approve sending the clerk's dues. Moved by Debbie, second by Terry.
Debbie? Lou?
Debbie moved, Terry seconded.
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Deborah?
Yes.
Question, is there a dues for the assessor to TOI, or I don't get any notice of it?
Usually they're sent to, they would be sent to you and then you would submit it.
I've never gotten
You should maybe ask.
it. Okay.
Yeah, because I know Bobby received his letter and then submitted it to us to put on the agenda.
They won't allow us in the meeting at the conference if you don't pay the dues. They won't allow you, when you go to the conference and when you go to the division meeting, they will not allow you, unless you paid your dues, so you can't do.
I know because we get David, so David pays his out of his budget, and when he does, and we get supervisors, and, we've done assessors, but maybe not, but you should ask and see if they got that sent.
Okay.
Okay, next item is the CASA of Will County. It's on the table, it was added. She was trying to, Rita Bachina was supposed to come tonight, and then ended up with a doctor's appointment that she had to go to. We've funded them before. The last time we funded them was in, it was April of 2014. And so if we pass this for $500, then I would like it to be an April disbursement for April 2015, so that we're doing it a year apart and not coming out of the same budget. So it is, this is CASA is the one that is advocate for children, and in their literature to us, they say that they have served I believe it's someplace I saw that, 6 Monee children. And now I'm not finding that in my data.
Maybe in the back.
Yes, Monee children served 6, thank you. And they said it costs about $1,000 per child. We decided that the $5,000 was a lot for, and that so many other agencies that would only give $1,000 or $1,500 to fill, serve so many other people that we in the past, we decided $500 was the amount that we could help with. And so is there a motion to approve $500 for CASA? So moved by Terry, second by Debbie. Any discussion? Okay, and roll call, please.
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Deborah?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is computers for the township. We sent Jeff Ritter over to Sandra's office to look at the 3 computers that she had, that to see, what it would cost to not only take the information off, but to update it so that we could bring them over and they'd be usable. And he basically came back and he said at a minimum it was going to cost $300 each. And there was one that he didn't think at all could be brought up to date without a major overhaul, because it has the XP which is no longer supported. And, but there was, so his suggestion is that we, he thought $300, and that was maybe plus, wasn't it? What he said was $300, and it might be more.
For a new computer?
No, for those,
Oh, right, yeah, he said, because he said one thing, he said there are older computers, and if we put any software on there, then it could crash. The computer may crash because they're old. If they're not up to date in order to sustain the new software.
That's why we would get rid of them, so.
so he's suggesting that he could set us up with, for $800 each, a couple computers that we could use here for our seniors. We've got basically one computer that works, and that was the computer when I replaced my computer. We put it out here, and that one's the one that will work. And the other ones will come up to date, is that correct? But they're just really so slow. So you might have maybe two that work well?
Well, maybe two.
Maybe two,
But-
one for
but-
sure.
But the operating system are no longer supported
Right.
by Microsoft, so.
So we're, all our computers, these were donated computers to begin with, and that's been donated probably 10 years ago now, 10 years ago.
It's been a
So,
while.
yeah, it's been a while, and you know how things go out of date. What we do is that we advertise, and people come in and want to use them. We use them for our GA clients, for job searches. We have people that come in and who may not have computers at home that do different searches on them for different things. And so I think it's important that we do have usable computers here in the township. And we, at this present time, do have money in our line item budget for adding some equipment. And so it's up to you. We could take it out of next year's budget too, if you wanted to look at it more. But Jeff was saying that for about $800 each, he could get us some new computers all up to date and installed and everything for us.
Personally, I don't know if our township, including the assessor's office, and I'm not sure what they would use, but I think that we need to probably step it up a little bit on the technical, logical side.
Well, I think Sandra's pretty
IT.
up to date. She's
Okay,
done all hers.
okay.
We just actually redid all ours
Now,
too.
and I'm not sure where we are, as far as, do we need some type of server capacity? Small, I don't know, as far as record keeping, how do we store our these private people information and all of that? Do we have a server?
We do in our office,
Oh,
we
you
just
do
got
have
a
a
new one in December.
Okay, do we
Yeah.
need one here? Do we make a package? Maybe here's an opportunity for
Okay.
our IT tech.
Well, we just updated it here.
Okay.
We just, this last year ago.
Did we update
David
the
got a new
computer?
computer, Willa did, I did, my computer is being used.
So-
Bobby got it.
Bobby did.
So we got new
Right.
computers, so are we
Right.
functional? Do we think we
Oh, yeah.
get all our needs
Right.
met from the?
And then on a regular
tech?
basis, because of the auditor, then we back up our information
We do too.
on a nightly basis,
We do too.
and that tape goes home with Willa, so that it is not left in case there's ever a fire or anything like that. So, that was per the auditor that we needed to do
Okay,
that,
nice.
since.
We do that too, but we have a safe that we put our.
So we feel pretty good. So
The
just-
only thing we're needing right now is some computers for the public to use, and they come in, and I think if we bought two, that probably would service our needs. And we go along with the one that I have.
What type of computers?
I'm not sure, what did he say?
I think he used to go through Dale.
Dell desktops.
desktops.
There's 3 over there, there's 2 right
Yeah,
there.
but there are four, actually.
Huh?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, there's two on the other side also.
right.
So
But we just,
how are the other, all 4 of them are in need of replacement.
But we're not using them. The reason that we had so many to begin with is because the seniors were talking about trying to start computer classes for seniors. And then we investigated it, never went anyplace. And so then now all the equipment has gone out of date. And we do need a couple that are working. We have people that come in, but we don't ever have more than a couple people at a time that come in. So I think if we bought 2, we would be fine. And plus with the one that I have back there, that my old computer, I think that's, would be sufficient to our needs for job searching and for resident computer use.
I would think the desktops, do you have desktops? in there?
Yes.
Really? They seem so outdated in and of itself.
Well,
I
we
don't
will be
know.
using desktop, we don't want,
Why?
what do you think, because we have to put them on
We
the.
don't want.
The laptop?
Right, no, and we don't want something that's gonna walk away, and then we get them connected.
I didn't even think they still made desktops. Are you kidding me? Kids is working with iPads and all that stuff. So.
I have a one that runs through that.
Oh, even iPads going up, she said.
So should I go ahead and have Jeff tell us a little more, maybe send us a, more of a complete bid? And give us a bid for maybe 2 or 3, so we have it? And for our April budget, or do we want to just go ahead and say, okay, he said $800 each and just get 2, so we get them out of this budget?
Yeah,
I'd like to see a document. I mean, and I also like to have him take a look at all 4 of those computers
Yeah.
and see which one is the 2 best ones to keep.
Yeah.
And if we only replace them 2.
Yeah, some statement from him saying that he feels from his profession that we are okay as far as just the server space and what we're doing. It'd be nice to come from him. If he's our IT person, just,
We'll see if he can even come to our next meeting.
yeah, just say,
So
you know,
why don't you ask him to give us a concrete bid on a bid that says for 2 computers or 3 computers, and then, and would let him know what our use is, and also ask him to inspect these computers here, which he's also, we're on the internet and everything on all of them, so we need to look at all that, so. All right, well, we'll ask him in for the April meeting if we can, and if not April, maybe we can get him in for May then. And we will go from there. Okay, next item is the Senior Service Center of Will County. This is another one that we, last April 2014, we gave them $1,500, so whatever action we take should be made with that, yes, we will do it, as long as we wait for the new budget on that. And Will Grundy is another one of those agencies that we use constantly. And as I said, the township's donation provides $32,000 in medical care. And it's where we send our people that come in and, for medicine and anything else that they're sent, told them to go to Bill Grundy. So we do use them constantly. So is there a motion to approve the $1,500 to be taken out of the April, the new budget? Moved by Debbie.
This is for senior services.
This is seniors, no, this is Will Grundy, I'm sorry. This is Senior Services Center we've got, and it should be Will Grundy.
Okay.
Where's my Will Grundy? Here's the, no, and that, I'm sorry. That is a thank you letter from Will Grundy. You were right, thank you. I meant to bring that up in my correspondence, got in the wrong place. That Will Grundy was thanking us for the $1,500 that we gave them. That's the Senior Services that provides the Meals on Wheels and that, and we gave that last one on April 2014, 4/18/2014. And they do the Meals on Wheels, and they've submitted on the back of there a whole list of all the things that they do, They said 1,243 persons received one or more services from Monee Township, which is a 17% increase over the last prior year. 1,776 contacts were made to clients to monitor services. 123 people dined at the congregation dining hall for a total of 1,246 meals served. And then the 112 persons received home delivery meals of 17,291 meals. So our small contribution of $1,500 isn't much, but it sure buys us a lot. Was there a motion to approve the $1,500 to Senior Services of Will County? Thank you. So moved by Debbie. Second, James. Any further discussion?
How much did we give them in April 214? Same amount?
1,500. All right. Seeing none, is there a roll call vote?
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Dapper?
Yes. Okay, next is the Crete Monee post-prom. They're asking for a donation to help with their post-prom. We've given in the past $100. We last gave in April of 2014. So I guess this is another one that if we approve, we'll send out a check on April 1st on this. $100 is what we've done for the last several years. So is there a motion to send money to the Crete Monee post-prom social service agreement? Sorry. Moved by Karen. Any second? By Debbie. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Is it going to be a certain amount?
$100.
100. Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Dapper?
Yes. Next item is the annual town meeting agenda. We have to set the annual town meeting agenda at this meeting. After we've given residents a chance to put in a petition for any agenda items by March 1st, which we did not receive. So we just do a general one. We've just filled in the dates of April for then the next year's meeting of the April 2016. And everything else is pretty much the same. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the annual town meeting on April 14th, 2015 at 7:30 p.m.?
So moved.
Moved by James. By Terry. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess? Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Dapper?
Yes. Next item are some line item transfers for the general town budget. We need to take out of contingencies. All of these will come out of the contingencies. 5195 line item. 8459 to go to 5060 training. $476 to go to 5110, which is the telephone, and $500 to 5200, which is building maintenance, for a total of $1,068.59. There a motion to approve, please? Is that it? Second. By Terry. And roll call vote,
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess? Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Dapper?
please. Yes. The next one is line item transfer in the general assistance fund from 5195 contingencies out of the general assistance fund, $120 to $50 to line items 5015, which is unemployment tax. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Maurice, second.
Second.
Second by Terry. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Dapper?
Yes. And lastly is the road district budget. It has a line item transfer from 5195 contingencies for $5,129.38 going to line item 5505, which is road supplies. That's salt. Is there a motion to approve, please? Debbie, second.
Second.
Maurice, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Dapper?
Yes. Next item is surplus list from Road and Bridge. It used to be that at every annual town meeting, we had to declare items surplus so that the electors of the township could declare items surplus. That has since been changed to legislation over the last few years, so at any time, any item can be declared surplus, but it must be submitted to the board for the board to vote on it. So that's why David has submitted this to us. Sandra eventually, when she wants to get rid of those computers and gets her stuff off of that, will, give us a list of to the board too. And then we can declare them surplus, and probably those could just be taken to an electronic recycling place because it's apparently not worth much. David, is there any dollar amounts on these?
No, well, no, not really.
Are you gonna bid them, or?
Probably so, yeah.
Okay, but we don't have.
Gonna have to do that, or I'll have to come up with some value.
Oh,
That air compressor could be worth 5,000
5,000.
at least, I would think. The sprayer, I don't know what it is.
All right, we do have to declare them surplus though, so that they can go out to be bid, which can be done on eBay or locally in a paper, or however. So
Yeah.
is there a motion to declare these two items surplus?
Can I ask a question? Dave, why are you getting rid of it?
That compressor sat there ever since I was elected. I don't use it anymore. We used to use it, the previous person had a crack patcher. They went around and blew all the cracks out before they put the patching in there. Very labor intensive, very slow. It takes about 4 guys. It takes 1 guy to follow with flashing lights because you're working on the road. That close 1 lane. We just haven't used it. The skid sprayer came. That was part of the deal for beet juice, and I do use it. We did use it for spraying along the roads, Roundup, but I kind of cut that back because it kills all the vegetation and it starts to erode. And if I do it again, I can find a lot smaller, easier sprayer than that.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the surplus list?
So,
Moved by Marie, is there a second?
Second.
James, any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Gold,
Yes.
trustee Brown,
yes.
trustee Burgess,
Yes.
trustee Young,
Yes.
supervisor Devon.
Yes. All right, let's move into old business. Just a reminder, the township officials of Illinois 2015 education program is tomorrow, and right now Bobby and Terry and I are scheduled to go tomorrow morning. And we here at 6:45.
6.
I have to be there, well, it starts at 8:30. It starts, so if you want to get your coffee and rolls, it's 8 o'clock, so it's 6:42.
Remember, Donna's retired.
I need all the free coffee and rolls I get.
Take the wheels out. Out
What time does it start?
8 o'clock, 6:45, and it's in Naperville, so that's, and then in morning traffic.
Yeah, traffic.
You figure, I'm figuring an
I
hour.
leave at 6:30.
Yeah. Well, I figure if we can get there even at 8:15, we're good, so that's giving an hour and a half.
You drive?
I'll make provide my car.
A new car.
Yes, and you can drive my car, you can drive your own, whichever you like, but if we
No,
don't.
I can't drive on, I got to leave something, so.
All right, so we will drive my car, and I have an iPad thing in it, so we can just write to
Make sure you obey the speed limit.
Pick me up
Don't
at
she would
6
say
o'clock.
something to you.
And actually,
Oh,
what's,
she told me mark her.
no, my new car has, it says.
No mark.
You're going 50 miles an hour, you're going 70 miles an hour, and I can see it from the driver's seat, so I'm dang good.
I'll let Terry drive.
All right.
You want Terry to drive? They have increased the speed limit since then.
They sell me now, so
Well,
we might be able to get away.
either Terry or Bobby can drive, but we'll be watching the speed limit because last time Terry drove my car, she got a ticket.
Well, you can do like my wife, let me know if I'm.
You ain't gotta worry about that. She gonna take you.
All right, so 6:45 or 6:30?
Be up on the way.
I can do that.
Thank you.
All right, I will pick you up at 6.
5:30.
Well, no, I'll
It takes
pick
Donna
you
a while
up
to get here.
at 6:30 then.
Fine.
And I'll meet you at 6:45 here, okay.
That's about the normal time I go to work anyway.
All right, okay, okey-dokey.
6:20.
All right, now next is the 2015 just budget workshop. What I did is that we updated the worksheets to our 319 bills, and then because I had to post this as of Tuesday to be within 30 days of the budget hearing, I had these made up, and these were posted as of probably last week, but Monday for sure. And so I put them in regular budget form. These are tentative budgets. They will change when we get down to the, especially the beginning balance of April 1st will depend on what is spent between now and March 31st. So this is all, I was guessing. So other than that, the figures that we put here have been translated over to the budget lines. Unless I did something wrong and anybody sees anything, let me know. Anybody have any questions? All right, well, they're posted, look at them. We'll, next meeting, April meeting, is our budget hearing. So be prepared. All right, our Will Ride program. Now, the Will Ride program, the reports on the table. She sent both December and January. December was $5,059.90. January was $4,355.77. There's a difference in December apparently was still using the old fuel charges because it was still $39.89 per person, which makes it about $19 for us. But the January, you notice the cost per trip was $35.47. And I think, and the difference in numbers served was 4 between Monee Township at the bottom, 234 to 278. So I think that probably has to do with the gas and the fuel that were going down. Because I had actually gone to a bus meeting in January or February and said, no, I'm sure we're supposed to be seeing some fuel cost savings because I know I'm paying less at the pump. And they're like, oh yeah, probably. So we did see that. So that is good. So not only am I asking for us to pay the 435 and the 5039, I am asking that we pay the balance that is in that budget. And the balance in that budget then, after we pay for December and January, is $2,661.10. And one reason I'm doing that is that we're coming up on the most part around $5,000 a month with this. And I have budgeted $60,000 in the new budget for the bus. But I would like to kind of get a little ahead of the game and pay that $2,661 towards the February bill because we don't know what's going to happen come this new year, especially with Governor Rauner and his budgets and the money we're cutting is in transportation, and he's cutting transportation to RDA and to PACE, and those are the people we're working with, which I don't know if that means our bills are going to go up in the next so often. Right now we're getting 50% reimbursement on a grant for our transportation, so our transportation is what, $15, $20 per person every trip they take. That could go up. I don't know. I think our grant is firm through I don't know what the date is of the grant that the RTD has given us, or given Will County. But I think when it comes around again, unless legislature changes and does not make those cuts that Rauner wants, then we may not be seeing that 50%. So I think that it behooves us to pay as much as we can out of this budget, so we're down to 0 on that budget line. So that's what I would like. I'd like to see us pay December and January plus the $2,661.10 towards February. Motion?
So moved.
Moved by Maurice. Is there a second? Second. Terry, any further discussion?
all gonna be together.
We can do it together for a total of, let's see, we'd have to add that up. It's on the check. I'm sorry, it's on the check.
No, you got to check out for me.
Yeah, we have the checks made out, so once when things are approved.
Oh, wow. We're too predictable.
No, we
All right, well, we gonna take care of it.
we pay our bills.
I thought I knew you would.
Anticipation.
Anticipation.
Yeah, they gonna pay it.
Well, I'm looking at $12,056.77, and let's look and see what the budget line item is showing, because that's how much we have in there, the budget line item that we have to look at. Okay. See if that was correct.
What you get down, 1256.77?
Total of $12,056.77 is what those three items add up to, and that is what is showing as the remainder in our dial and ride budget line item. So we would be down to zero, which is fine. All right. Is there a motion then to approve this? Oh, we did that, so we just looking for a roll call vote. Roll call vote, please.
Oh, sorry, I must have missed.
It was,
I moved it. You, Terry,
right,
Gotcha.
it was Maurice and Terry.
Trustee Bowles? Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Leonard?
Yes. Okay, the Flames Track Club is still not with us, so we will skip that. Let's go into youth reports. We'll put in your packet the report from the February report. The February 22nd meeting, there were a total of 52 people there, which is a really good amount. So that was a nice amount. And there are pictures that the event, and I apologize because I absolutely just completely forgot. It just slipped my mind. And if somebody would have called me, I would have come over, but it just was, you know, so here's pictures of the event.
We didn't talk about it.
Much.
Amongst ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I will have said something about the next day, and I'm like, oh, and I just planned on
I had
being
my
there.
senior moment.
Yes, well, I'm having them more often, so, you know. But those are the pictures. So that is the GSU report, which looks at 52. She said we've had 15 new families signed up, 15 new sign-ups since this year. So that's good. So where are we now with everything? I know, GSU payment, that was the next thing. Right now, we need to clear our budget for GSU payments through March 31st. That total at $55 an hour will be $1,320. So I would like authorization to pay $1,320 to GSU for our program that runs through March, 31st at GSU. So it's taken out of this year's budget and won't affect next year's budget. Is there a motion, please? Moved by Debbie. And a second.
A second.
Second by Terry. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burgess?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Leonard?
Yes. And Maurice, now GSU has told us that this will be our last session there. Is that correct?
That was not confirmed. That was just with all of the dynamics that's going on with their athletics department and all of that. The potential is there. The probability is medium,
Okay.
per se.
So can we
So-
kind of keep an eye on that so
Yes.
that before the July newsletter in summer, we'll have something that we can have concrete, and maybe in the meantime, could you work with school district 2 and you to see the possibility of using either Prescott King School or the middle school for our programs. We wouldn't have the swimming pool, or we wouldn't have an exercise place, but at least we would have a use of the gym and bleachers so people can play, you know, some areas that people can play games and or do crafts or anything with children, or things like that.
Well, absolutely. Actually, our superintendent was at that last event. He showed up and we had, him and I talked quite a bit about the program. He was very elated to see the kids and the parents come out together and do that, you know, just have a good time on that Sunday evening. So, yes, I will have some dialogue with the school district. And even GSU, their staff made comments about how the program is growing and how successful it appears to be. So I think we have an edge just to continue with G.
It'd be great if we
I
could.
think we have an edge because, you know, in a nutshell, over the last 4 or 5 years, getting those teenagers together, I think we have had very, very issues on the negative side to deal with. You know, so from that perspective, it has been a success to get these kids, you know, together, no shootings, no fighting, nothing like that. You know, we have a few issues, but nothing big. So they look at that, and I think we have the edge in our favor to possibly keep this program going.
Okay,
So in the meantime, we do have some other activities that we are going to start on the 12th of April. And it's going to be arts and crafts. It's called Kids Craft Corner.
Sponsored by basically
Sponsored.
Willa and
Willa
Karen.
and my wife. And I must say she does a good job at my church with my kids, and she's really crafty. And so that's going to be between the hours of 7 and 8 o'clock. And I think it's going to be a good thing. The wife saw Willa over in the corner doing some things with some needles and all of that. And voila, you had a hat. So good things is happening. And it looked like, you know, we just expected things. I think we got some basketballs. I wasn't able to make it. Thank you, James. He's just my right-hand man and left-hand man and Bigfoot and all of that. So thank you, James, for you know, the success last week. We added some more basketballs.
It's all for the good of the community. But there's one comment I want to make, though. It might be to our advantage to initiate the contact with GSU before the current contract expires.
Yeah.
Okay, because, you know, we, over the years, we started after Labor Day. And since they made that transition, we got on to a late start.
Okay.
Okay,
So I think they got a better feel of their sports program now.
yeah, so if we initiate the conversation for an extension, you know, maybe we can get in much sooner than February
Oh, absolutely.
of 2/16.
Yeah. I'll have some dialogue, sit
Yeah,
down.
and and the other issue is that I would not want to leave there without having a deep conversation with them, because we've got everything right there we need.
Yes.
We've got the parking, we've got the swimming pool.
Exactly.
We've got
So we have to-
security, we've got, you know.
Everything,
And
everything is
if it would
there.
help, then, you know, if you need to set up a meeting and let me be there and let them know that we really think it's important as a township, I'd be able to do that.
Yes, we lost, you know, ironically, we lost one of our big-time partners that helped initiate this program with, you know, the partnership with Governor State and Monee Township. That person is no longer there, so I think we can bump it up to the VP level and have a conversation, a very formal conversation with them. I think that'll be the thing.
Okay,
You
great.
know, let's do that, not have a sidebar conversation with me and one of the supervisors. Let's set up a meeting, have you there. We need to bring Joe.
No.
Bring out Big Gun, you know, bring David. You know, they bring Deb with her eyes, those 3 eyes of hers. Kind of charm the guys.
Yeah, if you can, you know who to set that up with and
Yes.
take care of that and
I
let
would
me
do
know.
that.
And just
I'll do
go
that,
from
give
there.
me over the next month. I think it'll be conducive and.
Just so, you know, sometime before, as you said, the end of our program is in May 18th or something, so,
Yeah, they shut down. in the summer,
yeah,
so-
and then they shut down, so we kind of need to, because we kind of need to know where we're going and get a yes or no from them so that we can work more diligently with then our local school district so that we can get some time and space with them. And
And they want to do it in April because in May they be working with their graduation in May.
So April,
We
yeah.
want to do it.
It's,
Unless the administrators are gonna be, they won't be doing anything in May, but if they're gonna be working over the summer,
They usually do.
in June, you know.
But as soon as we,
Well, for
The
GSU.
sooner you initiate contact with the interested, the better.
Okay.
All they're gonna do is put it on the calendar.
and maybe we could do both at the same time. Start getting some feelers out with the school district to find out costs and availability of space and then also, you know, dealing with GSU.
Yeah, see, there's some, you know, some fine tuning, especially when it comes to intergovernment agreement, being an advantage on our side as far as fees and things like that. So if it's helping the community, there's one side of the sheet, so to speak, when it comes to fees. And if it's not so much, if it's a personal thing, there's another set. So it's to our advantage monetarily that we are a government entity looking to work with another government entity. So, and then that's one good thing. I mean, we've been in this partnership with GSU. The fees is relatively been the same, to my understanding. I don't think they went up, so that's a good thing, so.
And we've been paying on time.
And they have.
We pay what's good invoices, like we're paying this one, like
We
we're
still
paying
pay on
first.
time.
We pay our bills.
Yeah.
Good program. And one last thing I'd like to add, was there some dialogue with Monee Township reaching out to us, the partnership with us?
I had a trustee call and want to know if they could partner with us, and I said, well, that would be a good idea, but we don't know where we are with GSU.
Okay.
And he was looking for something, you know, basically in the future, and I said, yeah, I said, I'd like to tell you that it's something that would happen. I said, but until we know where we are with GSU, I said, you know, if we lose GSU, we'll be going to the school districts and looking for space in our township, which is probably what you should be doing. It's just a trustee who was just given the job of doing something, and he says, I don't have a lot of time. And I said, well, I tell you, if it ever came to the point where we knew we were going to stay with GSU, then that's the time that we can maybe talk with you again. I said, but basically what you would have to do is that if you came on as Cree Township, then besides splitting the cost, you would also have to be splitting the chaperoning. And I said, because we don't pay anybody, and it's people giving their own free time. And he said, oh, you know, I don't have a lot of time. I said, well, you know, I said, then, you know, what we would, you know.
You still get a problem.
I said, so I mean, if, you know, there would be, that type of commitment would be, besides monetarily, it would be, you know, it would be people. So I said, there's something to think about. So I said, once we know one way or the other, I said, if we find we can go back with the issue, then we'll discuss it more with the commission and let them talk about it.
Fair enough there, sure. That's good.
Okey dokey.
All righty, so now the next is the National Youth Program utilizing motorbikes.
I need to make a correction.
Minibus.
Minibus.
What are you gonna do?
Mini bikes, yeah.
You know, that's all relative, you know.
Change that for the next agenda.
5-year-old.
Does the Midlake have a motor?
Okay, where we are with this mini bike program. At present, we are waiting on confirmation of the land surrounding the University Park Library and trying to determine if it's spacious enough to operate the program. If it is, then it would make sense utilizing that land for the mini bike program. So we're waiting on confirmation of that. Tracy Duckworth is working on that. And I sent her an email last week about it, that when we find out about the land, and also the director, the lady that we're looking at, the director, she's had some issues that within her own immediate family that she needs to focus in on. So I just asked her to, when she felt comfortable, if she would contact me. So at this point, those are two things we're waiting. And it's been going on about a month now. I haven't heard from her. But I know that when she reached out to me to notify me, it was of a nature that required her immediate attention out of state. So we're just waiting on her to get back in touch with me, and then we can schedule a meeting, because we're at the point of meeting with her and finalizing some things that she would be operating with the program itself, and then the land. When those two things are finalized, then we should have a package program, because tying it into the literacy program at the library is not difficult. Because Tracy did tell me that the literacy program is scheduled to kick off in June. So it'll be run June, July, and part of August. So at this point also, we decided that we're just going to run the program for the summer and not into the fall months. That was the community service aspect of it. So right now, that's where we stand. My intentions was to wait to at least the end of this month and then reach out to the lady that we're looking at as being the director, to see how she's doing, and see how comfortable, she feels about reestablishing communication with us. So it's just, right now, it's just a matter of just being patient, letting all the information be collected before we continue to move forward. So that's where we are right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just keep this informed. Anything on Going Green, Maurice?
No, not at this time.
Okay. All right, let's move into the trustee audit of accounts. And this is for the period of February 20th through March 19th. We have a total of $83,245.15 is the total. I'll start the signing down here. Is there a motion to approve the accounts? Moved by Debbie. A second?
Second.
Second by James. Any discussion?
Yeah, any reason why we have this fine big papers? This is the first time noticing it.
I grabbed the wrong sheet.
Oh, I'm like, I noticed it.
And when it came up, I said,
I'm like, hold on. I thought it was the numbers that made me look at it.
that's actually a photo. We didn't correct that.
That's what I thought.
Okay, so roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bowles?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burden?
Yes.
Trustee Young?
Yes.
Supervisor Levin?
Yes. Okay. Any more comments?
Oh, I have a couple comments. First of all, I'd like to welcome our trustee, Debbie, back, and we miss her. I hope all is going well with her family. Her family has been going through a lot over the last several months, so I hope the healing process is going both well, emotionally and physically. So, welcome back, trustee. We miss you. Welcome back. And I will get that taken care of. You don't know. Sorry, willing to get on me about my check. I saw this, I'm like, did I get that other one? Okay, so welcome back. And I do want to make
Oh, yes, please, everybody cash checks by the end of this month,
Did I-
please. So we can have everything paid for the audit and everything.
No, did I catch my
The
message?
last month, yeah.
The life is getting better. Okay, and also I just want to make a correction. I made a statement about the byproducts of the nuclear power plant going into the Kankakee River. And this, I was a bit facetious somewhat. I just want to make sure, so I don't want the green people and all of that, coming after me and all of that. But the nuclear power plants do use the Kankakee River, but it's used for other reasons and clean reasons other than discharging stuff. And they use it for makeup water for their nuclear reactor. They do use it.
Get ready to sign the check for
I want to make that. I thought about it after I said.
Okay, I just want vote and in all your municipal elections. And then on April 14th is our annual town meeting that is here at 7:30 p.m. I hope to see you all back then. Anybody else have anything?
Thanks for your, that was,
Yeah, exercise your right to vote.
Ditto, he said, ditto.
Please
I
exercise your right
have
to
one
vote.
question.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn, please?
I have one question,
Oh, what
one question. I know we need to have our checks cashed. How about, travel thing? Do we have, if we get that in by the end of the month?
Willa, what's the cutoff date for our March 31st?
They will do, as long as it's at the bank by the 31st, it'll be on the bank statement for the 31st.
Are you talking about any last bills?
Submitting, yeah. the
any
travel.
last bills. See, what'll happen is that you submit bills to Willa for, what's the last date that you will accept bills for March 31st?
That's what I'm asking.
Because then through the 31st, and then at our April meeting, we'll have 2 bill payments. We'll
Right.
have a bill payment for the rest of March and then April.
Right, so that's what I'm asking,
And
what
that's
you
when
just
you'd be
said.
paid, any reimbursement checks would be at that meeting then.
What's the date?
The last Friday, whenever the 31st on.
So you don't need it before the 31st?
April 7th.
Because you have to do the end of everything?
31st on Tuesday.
The 31st,
Okay.
at least by the 30th.
30, okay, all right.
Okay,
That's it.
is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Marie. Second by Terry. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bowles? Yes. Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Burke? Trustee Young?
Yes.
Trustee Margraf?
Yes, we are adjourned.